1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. They do this in the studios in Greece. 1, 2, 1, 2 here to check. My name is m.theodekti, and I am the abbess of this monastery. That means I am the servant of everybody here in the monastery, because I have to be the head. The word γερόντισσα, which you hear in the monastery, γερόντισσα, 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 means really wise and old. I don't think that I am very wise, and I am not really very old. But I try my best. Christos anesti εκ νεκρών θανάτων πατήσας και της εν της μνήμας η ζωή παρεισάμενο.
It was just a empty, half-built building and a ruin from the old monastery from 1550. And this new building, it was not finished, and whatever you can break, it was broken. Doors, windows, furnitures, and sometimes we thought we were in a thriller. Everywhere bats and mouses, and it was horrible. I don't know why, but we loved this monastery, so we decided to stay, to rebuild it, to make it, to clean it up, and it was a real adventure.
High up in the mountains of northern Greece is the holy monastery of the Honourable Forerunner. This is home to a unique monastic community of Greek Orthodox nuns from all over the world. I first came here a year ago to volunteer in their garden for a few weeks. I never expected to still be here. I've been living with the nuns, trying to learn, trying to understand, and trying to keep up with them. Because every day in the monastery, the nuns get up before sunrise, and are still at their tasks until long after sunset.
This monastery is definitely very unique and different. And you see things like the sisters chopping down things with chainsaws and telling the bulls where to go without being afraid of them, and standing on top of a ladder, on top of a roof, on top of another ladder. And you think, wow.
Before I come to the monastery, and now before I meet this life, I had a feeling that a life in the monastery is very boring, and I was wondering what these people do all day long. And I think that's the reason why I came, just from curiosity to see what these people do.
I didn't really know what nuns did all day either before I came, but I soon found out monastic life isn't only about sitting in church. This is a community of nuns, so God is at the centre of everything they do. But they're nuns who are also, every day, farmers, gardeners and beekeepers. They're butchers, cheesemakers and bakers, linguists, chefs, woodworkers and artists. This is a day in their lives, a day in the life of the monastery.
In the middle of the night, it's a very quiet time, and we just be awake to have this opportunity in the dark, in the peace, to offer something for our God. generally, in this area where we live, in Mediterranean area, the program of the people is that they come back 3 o'clock in the morning to their houses, from having fun, from having drinking, playing. So it is a custom that we say that we monks, we accompany these people with our prayers to go home. We just try to replace their duty to pray too, to replace for all the world that cannot pray or doesn't know how to pray or doesn't want to pray.
We're preparing breakfast. We are up because we had the church. It's 4 in the morning. My name is Irini and I'm a novice here in this monastery, and I'm from Greece, from Athens. We are in Trapeza. We're almost ready for the breakfast. It's fasting time, so we don't have like yogurt or cheese or dairy things. We have bread, peanut butter, olives, honey, and fruits. These are also very nice because they're from our garden and from our bees and from our olive trees. And the bread is from a sister who made it.
If you want to become a monk or a nun, this is the same in Greek language. It is monachos, monachie. So monachos, when we say monk, we mean nun too. It's not monastery and nunnery, because we are monks, we are female monks.
When the sisters first got here, the road from the entrance gate down to the main monastery was just a dirt track. Now it's a tree-lined avenue, surrounded by neat, colourful flower gardens. The trees are filled with birds. This is Sister m.theodekti from England.
So we're standing in front of the main monastery entrance. The thing that you see here, which is very common, is that you'll see the Greek flag flying and the Byzantine flag flying. This is something that you find in all monasteries. But what you don't find in all monasteries is we have a collection of 12 other flags. And these flags represent the countries that sisters come from. So we have the Greek flag, the English flag, the Estonian flag, the German flag, from Cyprus, from Austria, from Armenia, from America, from Lebanon, from Japan, from Australia, and from Russia.
The sisters here believe that God helps people find their way to this monastery. Because somehow, despite coming from very different and distant starting points, they've all come together here on this remote mountain in Greece. This is Sister m.theodekti.
I was sitting in my lounge in Australia watching a TV program, and they go around different parts of Greece. When I saw it, it was only for a couple minutes, and it happened to be showing an interview with the abbess about this monastery. And I saw it, and I just thought, well, I'll look it up and see. And it actually took me a while to Google it because I forgot the name of the monastery. And it took me many months to actually find it. But I did it in the end, and I came for a holiday and came back a couple of years later to stay.
The challenge is that we all have to speak the same language, and Greek is our everyday language. So everybody coming from another country will have to learn to communicate in Greek. Fortunately, though, most people also know quite a lot of English, and we have quite a lot of German, and our abbess speaks German and English, and I think with goodwill we managed to get through.
I'm Sister Theophani. I come from Greece. After our breakfast, everybody goes to her work, which can be the stable work or the garden work, but we also have a lot of work at the main place of the monastery, which means cleaning the rooms, cleaning the reception room, cleaning the church, cutting the grass, cooking, making cheese, sewing clothes, doing some icon painting or mosaic work.
When I first got here, I didn't think I'd ever get used to the sight of a nun driving a tractor.
It's a bumpy old road. How long have you been driving tractors?
So I'm driving tractors since I'm in the monastery. Because in the monastery you learn everything.
Like a university.
Oh, it's the best, most intensive university. This is for sure. The most difficult is to drive backwards with the trailer and to be straight and not to drive slalom. I'm Sister Theodekti. I'm from Germany, and I've been many years here in the monastery.
Άρχισε θυμάμαι ότι κόβουμε το κολοκυθάκι και μετά κόβουμε το κλαδί που ήταν.
Ακριβώς. Όχι το κλαδί, το φύλλο. You cut the zucchini and the same stem where is the zucchini coming, there is one leaf. So you cut also the leaf, what gives the nourishing to the zucchini, and then it doesn't take the strength. We are here down in the garden. I think it's a quite big garden. It's about 60 meter to 30 meter. On top we have zucchini, and then we have one row of tomatoes because we had a lot of plants, and I thought the zucchini can go just through the plants of tomatoes. They will be friends, I hope. Then we have 5 different kinds of bush beans, cucumbers, eggplant, peppers. Then we have, I think this year, 17 different kind of tomatoes. And then beans, they grow very high. And there we put very high bamboo that they can climb. And down we have the last row, it is with pumpkins. And all around we plant sunflowers and corn. So they can stop a little bit the wind.
This is our new calf. He is 3 weeks old, and we had it as a present from another monastery, and we have to baptize him. Which name we will give him?
He's got a good appetite.
Yes, you can hear it. My name is Sister Theodekti, and I am from Austria. We have 6 cows, we have 40 sheep and 40 goats, and chicken, rabbits, horses, dogs, and wild pigs.
Does the new puppy like the cows?
Yes, and she's not afraid of them. She thinks she's bigger. At the moment we are milking 3 cows. Kara, one of the cows, we just stopped now to milk. She now has a break for 2 months and then she will give birth.
I'm trying to milk goats. Lovely goats.
What are some of the difficulties with milking goats?
They're naughty. They just try to find ways to eat more and more and more. But we love them.
The centre of the monastery is the church, where the sisters pray 7 times a day. The main church is named after St. Damianos, who founded the monastery in the 16th century.
So
Sister Theoktisti.
This particular church has no electric light. This is very common for monastic churches. The reason being is that we have candles, which give a beautiful atmosphere in the church, and we have oil lamps. So once you get into the church, your eyes get accustomed to what you're seeing. It's the tradition that in a church you use pure beeswax. You're giving the best to God. We have about 40 beehives, so we have our own wax, and this beeswax has a beautiful smell, and it gives off also a beautiful kind of light.
Although the church is dark, it's filled with richly painted images, not just of Christ, but also of saints.
What strikes everybody when they first come into an Orthodox church is the icons. Like at home, we have photographs, and the photographs mean more than just the piece of paper it's printed on. It's full of meaning, and I suppose something similar you can say about icons. The icons are there to help us think about people who have managed in their lives to do something so good, so holy, that the church wants to commemorate them particularly as saints.
All us monks, we love very much world, people. We love the people. It's not that we separate ourselves from them. First of all, we are from the world. We are born in the world from families which are living in the world. What we don't want to have as main thing is the worldly spirit. For example, noise. Not noise of the birds and the environment. This is so beautiful noise. But the noise, for example, the noise of the people that they argue. Or the noise of a lot of buses and cars and running. Our life is a life of trying to be a life of angels. So we just try to throw out of our system some characteristics of the world that doesn't fit in the path to live an angelic life, a life like an angel.
Our Father, who art in heaven,
Πάτερ ημών ο εν της ουρανής, αγιασθήτω το όνομά σου.
Thy kingdom come,
ليأتي ملكوتك, لتكن مشيئتك.
On earth as it is in heaven.
汝の旨は天に行われるがごとく、地にも行われん。
Give us this day our daily bread.
Unser tägliches Brot gib uns heute und vergib uns unsere Schuld.
As we forgive those who trespass against us.
Kui ka meie andeks anname oma võlglastele ja ära saada meid kiusatusse, vaid päästa meid ära kurjast.
For thine is the kingdom,
Яко Твое есть царство и сила и слава Отца и Сына и Святаго Духа,
forever and ever.
Νυν και αεί και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων.
Amen.
One of the difficulties in the mountain is when we have lightning, and we lost one dog from a lightning, and also we have in summer a lot of snakes, and another dog was bitten by a snake and she died also. in the mountains, the weather can change very quickly. So it can be very hot, but also very cold. The most difficult thing in winter is when the water is frozen and the animals doesn't have to drink. Sometimes we have so much snow because our stable from the monastery is 500 meters, and we had so much snow that we couldn't bring down in the monastery the milk to make cheese.
I am Sister Theososti. I'm from Estonia. Sisters milk the cows and sheep and goats, and they bring it to us when it's already completely cooled down, and we keep it for the cheese making. Usually we make feta every day. We pack it for our own use and also for selling. We sell it in our monastery little shop, and also we go to some ecological markets because people know our products and wait for us. The most important thing that people appreciate in our products is that everything we do is done with prayer.
Really, in the monastery, we don't organize concerts. We pray. We pray singing. We just imitate the angels who are glorifying, singing all day and night God. And this what we manage to do, and it sounds like a choir. It's not a choir. They are people, they are so close and so much given to each other that they can breathe at the same time, complete each other in the music, and the most important, learn all of these things, not because they came together many times every week to practice, but because they sing together with older monks or nuns years and years, and from the ears it comes inside their soul. It sounds beautiful because behind what you hear, it is the common wish to pray together.
Tractor, and we bring out the manure of the stable, and we go out to the manure place.
Our animals, they make very good copria, the manure, and we use this in the autumn. We give it to the field because the garden, every year you cultivate it, it needs food. This is very normal. So all the winter it can go inside the earth, and it becomes a very, very good fertilizer.
The chicken are very happy when we bring new food from the stable.
Closer. So we are now in our seed room. It's a very small, tiny room with different shelves, and we have boxes with seeds from our garden, what we keep. We try to keep as much as we can seeds, and then we give this to the people. Why we do this? It is this movement, seed saving. It's all over the world. For us, Christian, Orthodox Christian, is very important this argument that God gives us a very good creation. And he said, take care for this creation. And unfortunately, there are some very big companies, and they make this genetic modifying from seeds, and they have a lot of power, of course. And in many countries, it's not anymore allowed to keep your own seeds. So you are obliged to buy if you're farmers. So for us, it is one challenge to look again, what did God say to us? Keep the earth and take care for the good things, what you have from it. We believe, and not only we, many people, they say us that our seeds are very good. And they ask us, what is this? First of all, we are in the mountain, far away from other people who use other seeds, what again affect our good seeds. The other thing, here on the mountain, nobody sprays poison. And the third, I think, very important thing is we pray and we have the blessing from our abbeys to do this work. So God is blessing this work, and therefore it's especially good.
The sisters welcome guests and visitors to the monastery throughout the year. They come for a day trip or to stay. Some come with their troubles, and some come to volunteer their time. The nuns welcome everyone.
I don't know what we expected. When we arrived on the first day, I was like, Dan, it's a good thing I met you before I got here, because this is pretty attractive life. My name is Carrie, and my husband and I came from Canada to volunteer on the farm here at the monastery. So we saw this description of Orthodox nuns from all over the world, and we were like, what language do they speak if they're from all over the world? And it sounded like a really diverse farm up on a mountain, and we figured because their commitment to organic agriculture comes out of their Orthodox Christian faith, we were quite keen to learn more about that.
Our life is given to prayer, but also to work and to give to the guests. The guests are coming from all over the different countries and Greece, and they just think coming here that they need to have a rest of their soul. So day and night we are really open to such service to the human beings.
Hospitality is a part of our life. Visitors are always welcome here, and we receive them in the name and in the place of Christ Himself. They are icons of God, and we treat them as if Christ Himself visited us. We try to make their stay here as comfortable as possible, mostly for their souls comfortable. We are not the best hotel or the best restaurant. They can take part in our prayers, in our services in the church if they like, and we offer them the best that we can offer daily.
At the monastery, we experience love in the relationship that the sisters have towards the guests. And I'm sure the guests do super annoying things, but love is constantly seeing the best in every person that comes here, even if that person annoyingly leaves crumbs all over the counter or annoyingly doesn't give their laundry when they're supposed to, or all of these annoying things. They don't let those build up. They continue to show incredible graciousness and love towards the guests. It's beautiful.
After being at the monastery for a while, I noticed that the fixed structure of the monastic day that I had assumed would become boring over time wasn't at all. The pattern of daily prayer times, meal times and work times had become reassuring and welcome. If I'm away from the monastery, I miss it.
We are cutting what seems to be an infinite amount of cucumbers.
Today we have fish. After 30 days of fasting, it's the first day with fish.
You know, fasting is not a method to kill yourself. That's why fasting without praying, without humility, without blessing, without guidance to it, it doesn't have any meaning.
Fasting is an important part of monastic life. Every week the monks fast for 3 days, when they eat a restricted diet. Sister Theophani and Katarina, a novice from America.
Monday is for the angels, and the monks try to behave and to live like the angels.
Wednesday we fast because that's the day that Judas betrayed Christ, and Friday we fast because of the crucifixion.
Special fasting periods can be for a few days or many weeks. Generally, fasting is stricter the more important the event on the calendar.
There are 2 times a year that we don't eat at all and drink at all. 3 days each one, which is before the beginning of the Great Lent, before Easter, and the end of the Great Lent, before Easter Day. While you fast, you feel less strength. But you feel less strength not only to do good things, you feel less strength to do bad things. You replace all of this time of eating with praying, with having some rest, with doing something quiet. So you become also better.
Up here on the mountain, it's hot in summer and freezing in winter. But the nuns wear the same style of clothing all year round. They wear it to drive tractors, do gardening, fix machines, climb ladders. I thought it was just a uniform, but Sister Theoniki explains there's a lot more to it than that.
It is from neck to the feet and till the hand, so you really see only the hand, and the nuns wear one veil, and it's just the face outside. First time when I saw such a nun, I thought, oh, poor them, it is so hot, and they are so black and so full dressed, they must suffer. But then when I saw the face a little bit more, I understood they are so shiny, the eyes and the expression, they are so happy, deep happy, something what I thought, they have something what we don't have. So I asked them, and they explained me that the black what they are wearing is because of to be sad for the own sins, what they did in their life, but also for the sins in the world generally. So the black is sign of being sad. And then the face should shine, as I saw from the sisters. This shining, this being so happy, it should express the resurrection.
This combination has in Greek language a very beautiful word. The word is harmolipi. It is joy and sorrow. And it is one word. And this is the typical figure of the monk, of joy and sorrow. The joy is coming from the face and the sorrow from the black clothes.
These sisters have been welcoming visitors to the monastery for nearly 20 years.
And then slowly, you see, we build the church. This is St. Amlianos Church.
Sister Theodoxia is showing the Canadian volunteers, Carrie and her husband Dan, some photos of the monastery from the early days.
It doesn't have a roof, that's right.
Yeah, we just clean it. It's only the cement round around.
How much of your time do you spend cleaning, sister?
Half of our life, I think, we are cleaning. In the first 2 years, we was only cleaning, nothing else. It was unbelievable.
How cold was the first winter?
Cold, very, very cold. We came here, it was no roof here, as you have seen. And when we came, there was 2 bedrooms. And in the kitchen, we ate and nothing else. And we wanted to prepare for the others, the rooms in the first floor. And it was before Christmas. And the plumber came and wanted to, from the ground floor, 1 pipe. In the first floor, the rooms there have also water. And he was working there. And he opened the water to go up, and he looked and he worked. And Sister Theodekti had a lot of headache, and she said to me, can I go and have a sleep a little bit? And I said, yeah, of course. She went in the room. You cannot imagine. This pipe from the down floor to the first, it had such a hole. It was on my bed. It came out the water like this, like a fountain. And it was so much water everywhere. We put this red and blue carpet, flocates. They were swimming like boats. It was unbelievable. We just took them and we brought them up there. There was just these benches, this big. We put them there to run out this water, and the next morning they was frozen. It was so cold. It's unbelievable. It's good to remember from time to time, because now we forget it how it was.
In the afternoon, the sisters have a chance to rest, but they often find other jobs to do instead.
We are currently walking down to where we have our bees. It is behind the monastery wall. There's a little path going to the garden between the old oak trees that the area is full of. On our left we have the fields where our animals. We can hear the bells of the cows, the sheep and the goats who are lying in the shade. Now we have a little gate going to the garden. We try not to step in front of the hives, not to disturb their landing area. I'm a Sister Theodekti. I'm working with the bees and lots of other places in the monastery that help us need it. I think it is a big tradition of beekeeping, especially in this area, in Greece generally, and in these mountains they have lots of bees, and of course it's a tradition also in the monastery to have bees. First of all, we like to eat their honey, so but yes, it is a tradition, and also it's a very beautiful example for how the bees live and how the monastery lives, because actually a beehive is like a small monastery. They have their queen as we have our abbess, they have their workers as we have the sisters who work together beautifully. They keep their home clean as we try to keep our home clean. So you can see many parallels about, well, we say the bees, they're all time busy bees, so that's what we have as an example, because we try to be busy bees in the monastery. They are busy bees, of course, because they want to collect as much as nectar and honeydew that they need for winter food. But we try to be busy bees for Christ, to work together beautifully to serve Christ and the saints of our monastery.
In the monasteries, they don't usually eat meat, so fish is an important part of the monastic diet. The sisters are always full of energy and creative ideas. The new fish tank is a disused concrete water tank, about the size of a backyard swimming pool. It has a variety of occupants.
So in our fish tank we have fish, of course. We have 2 turtles, and they are called Leonardo and Raffaella. And we have also crabs.
The crabs are the newest arrivals. Sister Theodekti isn't 100% sure if they'll work out.
I don't know really. because I hear that the crabs eat fish, but we will see how they go together. We don't have any experience until now.
This fish tank project, like everything at the monastery, involves a lot of teamwork and problem solving. We're taking a break from cleaning out the stable to sort out a problem with the drainage.
It's a little bit cold.
This involves swimming down with some heavy rocks to secure the drain cover.
The fish, eh?
Yeah, look for fish.
And don't worry, these crabs will not bite you. They come out only in the night.
It's dark in there, they might think it's night.
I put on some goggles.
We will see. So be careful.
And Sister Theodekti hands me an old milk crate full of rocks.
Take a deep breath and then I'll give you the kafasi.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have it? It's heavy. Έχουμε το fisherman εδώ.
After a bit more splashing around, we managed to sort out the drainage problem and to establish that the fish are still alive.
Snorkel we have down there.
I love here how often the sisters will stop to enjoy the moment they're in, however busy they are.
If you cut a potato and put inside,
They laugh easily and often. Then they'll retell the story later, many times, for any sisters who missed it.
You know, all our upbringing, most of the things we hear is how unique we are. From our parents, from our teachers, from our everybody around. Something we try to break in the monastery, in the spiritual life generally, is that I am the middle of the world. Did you ever see this mouse that is running around his tail? So we are around on our egoism. Myself and me and myself and my brain and myself. If the other is my center, not myself, my world is bright, is big, my world. If it's me, it's very narrow world. It's myself, my things. And I develop more and more this egoistic way.
Whenever there is a need in the garden, we all go to help. When there is a need in cleaning, after a big storm, for example, we all go to tidy the place. So it is a community work according to the time. What the time brings, we try to be together and face it.
Girondasa explains how language is used in the monastery to help keep the focus on the community instead of the individual.
In the monastery, we try to avoid to say the verbs in the first, except if it is a mistake. For example, if I break something, I don't say we broke something. But if we made something very beautiful, like, to cut the grass, you don't say I cut the grass, you say we cut the grass. We sing in the church. It's not important, it's not the main thing how I sing, it's how we sing. So in order to help ourselves to forget a little bit that I am the middle of the world, but we are together, the togetherness is something which makes something important, not me.
After coming together for the service of Vespers in the late afternoon, the sisters return again to their work. Every day is different here in the monastery. Sister m.theodekti is checking on the progress of renovations at the old monastery. When they first started work on the old chapel, the sisters made an unexpected discovery.
The floor of this is very dangerous, really. You have to walk where you know there's wood.
Ah, they've added more.
So here on this corner on the right-hand side, there was a big hole going to the floor below. It was down here that we found all the bones of the monks. So we had to take a ladder to get down there. And instead of burying them in the way that we would know today, just the bodies were probably just laying down there and gradually dissolved so that the bones were all mixed up together.
Did you know that the bones were going to be there when you...
When we first opened it, we saw some bones, and so then we had a big sort of action with lots of sisters to go down and carry up big buckets full of earth and bones together. It was rather difficult. Washed them, disinfected them, and then created a bone house, an ossuary, so that the monks who had lived here in the past have a beautiful and holy place for the honour of their bones. And we were just surprised because we found over 90 skulls down here.
Back up at the stable, the sisters have finished evening milking. Between praying and working, the days are long here. Sister m.theodekti.
It's our life to glorify God, to pray for all the people and just to give time for God, and also to work that we can earn money for our daily life.
As night comes, down at the monastery, there's still work to be done. Sister m.theodekti is sorting seeds in the seed room. Sister m.theodekti is turning cheeses in the ripening room. Another sister is mending clothes in the sewing room. Sister m.theodekti is still in the kitchen.
This is crepes. I prepare them for my sisters for breakfast. Although it's 8 o'clock in the evening, or 9. Here we have some green peppers ready to be stuffed tomorrow with rice and herbs.
What's its Greek name?
Piperies gemistes. It's very traditional Greek meal.
People say it must be a very boring life, just being in the church all day, sitting there.
I would agree if it is only sitting in the church. It would be really boring. But we have so many different things to do. All time we are occupied with doing different things. But in our daily life we are like a family, so we are together. Also in working, also in sitting, also to speak together, to joke together, to scream together. So it's never boring. It is something, it's totally life.
Here in monastery, now I see very clearly that it's anything but boring. I've learned so many things and so many different things I would never imagine I would learn. I had never seen a goat before I came to monastery. Maybe on the road. But now I see them and say, oh, look how beautiful they are.
Before I lived in a monastery, I didn't expect that a monastic life, shut off from everyday struggles, could teach anyone much about real life. But I'm learning a lot. There are struggles. When you try to live closely with others, up a remote mountain, without all the distractions that come from the white noise of the world, it's hard to avoid either yourself or your relationships with other people. Sister m.theodekti.
Everyone came from a home of some type, but it doesn't mean that we were born angels or that we're perfect. And we come here as we are, and we try to form this family unit here.
We try to love everybody who come and who lives also with us as our brothers and sisters. We try to think and live that everybody else is happy. And so if we give to all the others, we earn the same from the other sisters. So we are very rich in love.
I think being in the monastery is like recalibrating yourself. For me, every day, I'm reminded that simplicity is beautiful. The simplicity of taking only what you need in life, not constantly trying to get more of what you want, of taking care of people and the environment, and of giving back, like when their sisters feed manure to the garden which has kept them fed all year round. I'm learning that up here on the mountain, with everything else stripped away, what's left are things that, to me, matter most. Love, compassion for others, and a profound sense that we're all part of something far bigger than ourselves. Sister Theososti.
It is a community and it is a spiritual family. The center of community life is God. We don't have the center of some activity. The center of our life is God.
The last prayer at night in the monastery is called Compline, and at the end of the last prayer we ask for forgiveness. It's from the scriptures that you shouldn't let the sun set on your anger. We take that very seriously because you never know, will I wake up tomorrow? Will the other person wake up tomorrow? We all have our bad days. If we've had some kind of difference of opinion, some argument, we're all allowed to have our bad days. We're allowed to be as we are, but we need to get over it.
We have a lot of opportunities to be together, to have positive or negative moments every day. This forgiveness, it is through the responsible person, the abbess or the abbot, who hears this synchoresteme, this moving of our heart to ask forgiveness, and he answers or she answers, «Ο Θεός συγχωρήσε ημίν και ημίν». Let us, God, forgive you and me and us all.
If we can go to bed every night knowing I have forgiven and I am forgiven, you wake up with a very different feeling the next day. You know that you have done your best, however weak you might feel at that moment, but you can go on.
After this forgiveness, we don't speak anymore because we try not to make another mistake or another sin. This is how it ends the day, with forgiveness.
Ευχαριστούμε.